Product provided by Nintendo. Every year on this channel, we like to take a moment to sit and reflect on the current status of Nintendo Switch and the games that are available on the platform to discuss the direction we think it's headed in as we enter a new year. Specifically around this time of the current year because it's right before holiday season really gets kicking, and that's the time period that really sets the tempo for the rest of the next year. I think it's fun to get in ahead of that so we can try to predict its impact. With all that being said, let's talk about it. Okay, so I get it. These videos and their titles have a real risk of becoming a meme if they haven't already, but it's true. I think it's pretty easy to argue that the Nintendo Switch has gotten better and better every year in regards to its releases. Year one was a year of quality. Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild were unmatched across all video game platforms in 2017, and it'd be hard to argue against that claim when you look to their critical and commercial success. Even beyond those games, Splatoon 2, Mario + Rabbids, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe all contributed to that amongst other games that were released on Nintendo Switch. 2018 was a more controversial year, but I honestly believe it bested 2017 because of the increased variety we got with more third parties joining the fray, and the fact that we got the first entries of several major Nintendo franchises for Switch, including Donkey Kong with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, some may say the best game in the series, Kirby with Kirby Star Allies, some, meaning me, may say the worst in the series, and obviously Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which speaks for itself and is currently still my favorite game on Switch by a mile. Pokemon Let's Go was also great. Then we have this year, which started pretty slow, but around the midpoint the game releases really picked up in quality and quantity, with highlights being Fire Emblem Three Houses, Super Mario Maker 2, Astral Chain, amongst others, with games like Luigi's Mansion 3 and Pokemon Sword and Shield still to come. And that speaks nothing to all the third-party releases that came to Switch this year, many of which people swore up and down were impossible, like Overwatch and The Witcher 3. Even still, I think we have plenty of room for improvement, and that's because what every year has had in common is that they've all had pretty well-defined lulls in major releases. For the last 2 years, the lull was in the beginning of the year. Admittedly, 2017 was a more well-rounded year, but I'd say the middle of the year was pretty light, and there were other pockets in between that were pretty light. In contrast with this though, 2020 is coming out swinging with Animal Crossing New Horizons, which may not be the first game some think of as a major release, but it is easily a top 5 current Nintendo franchise as far as sales go. This game will sell incredibly well, likely beating out Pokemon Let's Go by the end of the year, possibly even Breath of the Wild in lifetime sales if the past mainline titles in the Animal Crossing series are any indication, as well as the current trend of Switch game releases setting franchise records left and right. And rightfully so, because this game will be something that lasts the life of the Switch, as it's an evergreen title that doesn't end. Fans of this franchise will play this game for years to come in the same way that Smash Bros. Ultimate is my most played game on a monthly basis, despite enjoying a lot of the newer 2019 Switch games as well. I'm sure New Horizons will dominate other people's playtime in the same way. If you're one of those people, maybe leave in the comments what you love about Animal Crossing. You could win somebody else over, you never know. But I digress. New Horizons specifically is making use of the more capable hardware in the Switch, as well as its improved online infrastructure to improve on the already well-known and beloved formula of Animal Crossing with the twist of deserted island life. That'll be March, and there's still even more to say about March in particular, but first, I'd be doing the Nintendo Switch's 2020 release schedule a disservice if I didn't mention the fact that the major releases actually start in January with the port of Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE Encore, which, if you were unaware and the title didn't already spell it out, it is a very Japanese game, and since Atlas is dumb, is the closest thing you'll get to a Persona game on Switch until Shin Megami Tensei 5 comes out, which, again, I'll get to toward the end of this video. Despite its distinction of being a Wii U port, Sharp FE is a game that is a great get for JRPG fans, because no sane person who didn't run a Nintendo YouTube channel owned a Wii U, and the people that did said this game was pretty solid judging by the 80 it scored on Metacritic. I'm sure it'll benefit from the increased hype for the Fire Emblem series garnered by Three Houses, as well as the hype surrounding the Persona series, as that's also receiving a new release in 2020, albeit not on Switch. Really. yet. Circling back to March, or likely a bit after since the Switch version apparently got pushed back, we also now know we can expect to be playing Doom Eternal, which is a promising game considering the reception of the predecessor Doom 2016. I could talk about why Doom Eternal is exciting apart from that, but my friend Dan Seibert already did a way better job than I could in his video about it, so if you want to hear more about that game, check that video out after this one. I'll link it in a card above. That said, moving on to the next major releases that we know of so far is when we move into unknown territory as far as specific release dates go, starting with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This may be the third time this game was released, fourth if you count the Wii U eShop, but it's notable for a few reasons. One, it sports models and other assets that are significantly improved upon over the original Wii version. Two, it seems as if we'll be seeing some cut content being brought over to this version of the game, so that's a fun time. And three, it'll be on a modern platform that everyone's playing during its prime. Wii was on its way out when Xenoblade Chronicles originally came to the West, in addition to the fact that the Wii wasn't exactly the console people bought to play sprawling JRPGs on in the first place. The 3DS port was only playable on new 3DS and new 2DS models, which are less prevalent by virtue of the fact that they came out halfway through that platform's life, and like I mentioned before, no one owned a Wii U. So yeah, basically new game as far as most people that are playing it are concerned. Xenoblade Chronicles is a high-tier cult classic, so it's sure to perform well, and it could be elevated even more by the success of Switch. That brings me to No More Heroes 3, another 2020 Switch title, one that people have been waiting for nearly a decade. We don't know too much about this one as we only got a brief announcement trailer, but we do know that it follows up on Travis Strikes Again. Beyond that, we have a game that I know people are excited for because I've been told to play its predecessor for a long time now. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time, but Parker, fellow fanatixfour host, has, so I forced him to come here and tell you why Hollow Knight Silksong is an exciting addition to the 2020 lineup.
Hey there, it's me, the second Fanatic. As you likely know, Hollow Knight Silksong was born out of originally just being a bit of DLC for the first game and is becoming its own full unencumbered game. To be frank, it's almost a given that the Switch will be its most popular platform when it releases, considering the sales volume of the first game. As long as Team Cherry keeps up with what we've seen in previews, this will be a faster pace, more varied, and further refined take on Hollow Knight, which pulls from Metroidvania exploration, Dark Souls life retrieval, and its own amazing flair, gameplay, and art style. If it's anything like the first, there are few games with as cohesive music, mechanics, and indirect storytelling to come together for such robust content at its low price. Expect to hear a lot of hype when Hollow Knight Silksong comes out. I hope you'll be on board.
And that's just the games we know are coming for sure already. Most years in gaming come into their own as we move through them. Many Game of the Year level games of the past weren't revealed until we were already pretty far into the year they were released in. So I want to get into a bit of tinfoil hat territory. What if, for these remakes, they add another region to tie into the Pokemon anime's direction of traveling the Pokemon world? Geographically, the first 4 Pokemon regions are relatively close to one another, so any of those could be fair game, but we also know that planes exist, so they could even just opt to go with the Alola region, since it's likely that they have work done on HD models of that region from when they wanted to do Pokemon Stars or whatever. As many of you know, I could make a whole video about just this, but I'll spare you that nitty gritty until the day comes that I do. On to the rest. There are quite a few pre-announced Nintendo Switch games that could come out in 2020. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is one of the last games announced during the Switch reveal event that still has yet to come out. I'm thinking more than enough time has passed for a full dev cycle, even if we assume they got zero work done on the game before they announced it there. Bayonetta 3 seems like a shoo-in to me. I feel like Platinum Games mostly avoided talking about it up until now to give Astral Chain room to breathe. It's had plenty of time by now, so I'd expect to see more about Bayo 3 in 2020 as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it released then too. As far as games we know about that I think I'll end up talking about in the 2021 video I'll inevitably do, I could see the Breath of the Wild sequel releasing in late 2020 if I'm being honest, but it would be a major surprise, so I'll go out on a limb and say that won't end up happening, and we'll get that game in 2021. Or even 2022, because although it's possible that having the original Breath of the Wild as a foundation could mean that the sequel will take less time to release, we're still talking about a Zelda game here. It will most likely get announced and later delayed. If it weren't for Mario Maker 2, I'd be confident that we'd see a Mario Odyssey follow-up, but I think next year would be too soon considering that game's release. Maybe we'll get a Super Mario 3D World port though. There's no way that Metroid Prime 4 will see the light of day in 2020. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't even see it in 2021, and that's okay. Retro should take their time. Speaking of Retro Studios, at this point, I'm not too sure we'll see whatever they were working on before they got the Metroid Prime 4 project, unless they were working on a Metroid Prime trilogy release. That could potentially happen. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Pikmin 4 is the white whale title that I don't know what to think about. Miyamoto has said on several occasions that it's done or close to done, but we have seen nothing from it, and the timing of these statements would suggest that he's not talking about Hey Pikmin either. That said, I'm 50-50 on this showing up in 2020 or not. Pikmin 4 will come like a thief in the night, for sure. And now, on a related note, I want to talk a bit about what I hope we'll see in 2020, but kinda doubt. I want this to be a year where Nintendo digs even deeper into their pool of IP. Give me a new Ice Climber game. Give me a Kid Icarus Uprising sequel. Give me a Star Fox game that people don't hate. I think Switch is in the perfect position to elevate titles that underperformed in the past, and I think 2020 would be a good time to find out whether this is true or not for sure, with a lot of the tried and true franchises already being present and accounted for. Regardless though, 2020 already looks like a promising year for Nintendo Switch, and we're going in relatively blind compared to the past years of Nintendo Switch. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it just means that we'll get a lot more surprises than we're used to. After all, we sort of have to if they want to keep their momentum going in the face of 2 new consoles being released that same year. What games are you most excited to play on your Switch in 2020? And do you think it'll become the best year for Nintendo Switch releases so far? If not, which one is to you and why? As thanks for watching this full video, I want to announce that we'll be holding a giveaway for a copy of the winner's choice between Pokemon Sword or Pokemon Shield. Check the link in the description for details on how to enter. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button and share it with a friend that you also think may enjoy it. And if you're new here, maybe check out one of our other videos that you haven't seen before. We have tons, and most importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.